Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Now to the desperate operation to save the remaining 35 live whales stranded near Strawn. Crews are racing against the clock and the tide in harsh conditions to help the struggling pod. Reporter McKenna Bailey has been following the rescue effort.
230 pilot whales stranded near Strawn, with only a fraction surviving.
A terrific result to rescue 32 of the 35 that were alive this morning.
Rescue crews were hopeful heading into day 2. Their focus, rescuing and releasing the remaining mammals. The team working to keep the whales wet and ultimately alive, before returning them to sea. Crews learning from Australia's biggest stranding in the same spot just 2 years ago.
We directly sling live animals using the whale rescue mats directly out of the harbour.
There's around 50 people on the ground helping to return the surviving whales safely back to sea. We are, however, seeing a high mortality rate due to the harsh environmental conditions.
We have a 3 to 4 metre swell at the moment, and so there's a large amount of pounding surf. We can't get the whales out through that. 2 of the rescued whales re-stranded this afternoon, but were safely returned to deep water with tagging. Despite the challenges, it was a successful second day.
What caused this stranding is still an unknown. The effort today was focused on refloating, and obviously we had some really good success there.
While nearly 400 whales died during the last stranding in 2020, just under 200 pilot whales, believed to be a matriarchal pod, have learned a similar fate this time around.
It can be emotional. As I say, pilot whales are very sentient beings. We can often hear them calling and communicating to each other. We do know that we have success in these efforts, and that is what keeps driving us.
Hoping to move into the next phase tomorrow. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
And McKenna remains at Macquarie Harbour tonight. Good evening to you, McKenna. What is the next course of action?
Kim, the incident management team will debrief again tonight to discuss their plans for tomorrow. The operation will resume at first light, continuing with rescue and release efforts to save the final 3 whales believed to be alive on the northern end of Ocean Beach. Crews were limited today due to tide. From then, teams will work together to remove the nearly 200 remaining carcasses. The Department of Natural Resources and Environment remains unsure when access to the beach will reopen. Kim.
Tasmanians also gathered to mark the passing of the late Queen on this National Day of Mourning. Services held at Anglican churches are giving locals an opportunity to pay tribute. Church leaders say while it's a time of sadness, today was also a time to celebrate her life.
Giving thanks for 70 years of service to Australia. People 8 decades apart in age and experience, celebrating the one constant they all share. Tasmania's Anglican community opening its doors in tribute to Queen Elizabeth II. The denomination is linked to the Church of England, of which Her late Majesty served as Supreme Governor.
She became more and more overt about that in the last 20 years of her Christmas messages.
Locals joining the country in a minute's silence at 11 a.m. At Hobart St David's Cathedral, some showed their emotion. The Lieutenant Governor spoke of Her Majesty's connection with Tasmania. Collegiate and Hutchins students featured prominently, with student leaders aware of this historical moment.
It was such an honour and a privilege to be able to come here and honour the late Queen and be able to represent my school.
She's definitely that figure that a lot of people look up to and have a lot of fond stories about her.
In Launceston, a portrait of the Queen was front and centre at Holy Trinity service.
It just seems like a fitting way to offer people the opportunity to give thanks and to celebrate.
At Longford, the bells tolled. The parish also leaving a lasting legacy, planting an English oak tree in remembrance.
It's a lovely memory of her, and if we have something substantial here to remind us of the reign she had.
This afternoon, St George's Church at Battery Point also gathered, praying for her and the royal family. While a sad time for many, the Bishop says it's also a time of hope.
That was what we were trying to do, give people the opportunity to grieve, but also the opportunity to celebrate her life and look forward to the future.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
A family of 5 has made a life-saving escape after their Glenorchy home went up in flames. The size of the inferno limiting firefighters to an external attack.
The devastating aftermath of a family home filled with flames and fear early this morning.
They had candles burning in the bedroom. They went outside for a cigarette and on the front porch there and noticed that there was flame in the bedroom where the candles had fallen over and onto the pillows.
Fire crews responding to calls made at around 12:40 a.m.
There was flame coming out of most of the windows of the house.
The 2 parents and their 3 children lucky to make it out alive, watching on in horror as fire ripped through their Devines Road rental.
They've had a few hours to absorb it now, but they're still sort of stunned.
The inferno took around an hour to extinguish, with damage estimated at $500,000.
Upstairs is completely burnt out. Yeah, there's a bit of stuff in the garage area which has been saved by the fire crews, including a Harley Davidson.
The adults transported to hospital for minor smoke inhalation.
The guy's got some small burns on his hand where he tried to put the fire out.
A neighbour who witnessed the blaze from his bedroom described it as both big and scary. Another saying she heard screaming and saw the house alight before firefighters arrived on scene. They're now using the incident as a timely reminder not to leave open flames unattended. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
An investigation is underway into a fire at Ashley Youth Detention Centre. The state government confirming the fire service was called to the facility last night. They say the blaze was extinguished quickly and with no staff or detainees injured. The damage bill and cause is unknown at this stage. Well, the public holiday has provided the perfect launch pad for a new brewhouse. Ducane has spent nearly $3 million overhauling the old all-goods tent city building opposite Princess Square in Launceston. The first patrons soaked up the suds and sunny weather to mark the occasion. The fit-out features Tasmania's wild outdoors, including a mural mapping out Tasmania's 50 short walks.
We're all about bushwalking. You know, the Ducane beer is named after the Ducane range, so we've tried to capture outdoorsy feel as much as we can.
The opening was moved forward to coincide with the day off.
Jack McVeigh had his eye in at the NBL Blitz.
Jack McVeigh feeling it early.
Great start by McVeigh.
Tasmania jumped out the blocks in the pre-season clash against the Cairns Taipans, leading by 20 points at half-time. They're currently up 74-65. And for the first time, Tasmania is about to host a round of the National Hard Enduro Series, where motorbike riders stare down tough terrain and tricky obstacles. Locally known as the Insane Ride, the nation's top rider had a glimpse of what's in store at Powatina.
Chris Perry is Perry Quick. And the nation's top hard enduro rider races to a simple philosophy.
But to finish first you have to finish.
That's half the battle in the rough and tough world of hard enduro. A bone-rattling mission across man-made hurdles and barriers, followed by a testing full day's ride through Tasmania's wild.
6 hours or 7 hours, a long time on the bike. Anything can and will usually go wrong.
Perry is currently leading the national series and can clinch the title in Powatina if he takes out this last round. Having the nationals in Tasmania means 130 mainlanders are coming down, dwarfing the 35 locals also suiting up.
They'll be doing vertical cliffs, waterfalls, green rocky creeks, hills you can't walk up.
You could barely walk at all after this kind of punishment.
The riders with good balance and good skill set can definitely shine here, but you've got to be physically strong as well.
For the top guys, Australian events serve as a warm-up for the sport's big blockbusters in Europe, including the most iconic Austria's Erzberg Rodeo, which Perry has raced in before.
You're looking at 20 or 30,000 spectators over 4 days. It's absolutely massive.
And this is massive for Powatina. Racing takes place all weekend.
Good evening everyone. A warmer day today with Hobart reaching 23 degrees, 22 in Launceston, Burnie 18 and 17 in Devonport. Across the state, Bushy Park saw the top of 24, 22 in Grove, Friendly Beaches 21, 19 in St Helens and King Island, Lowhead, Lyowini and Strawn all 17. Mostly sunny conditions can be seen across southern Tasmania today, with patches of cloud across the north. Further out, a low pressure system and associated fronts are generating extensive cloud over southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales with isolated thunderstorms. Tomorrow, a cold front approaches Tasmania from the southwest during the day, bringing showers and a cool change to the state, while a low pressure centre lies on the east Australian coast. North to northwesterly winds tomorrow 10 to 20 knots, however shifting south to southwesterly in the afternoon, 20 to 25 knots, increasing up to 30 knots. And there is a strong wind warning current from southeast Cape to Stanley. Showers and 18 in Hobart and Huonville tomorrow, 19 in Campania. Launceston 20 with a shower or two, Devonport and Georgetown both 18. 16 degrees in Burnie tomorrow, 14 and showers in Strawn, Wynyard 17. And St Helens and Swansea increasing showers and 19 there, and Port Arthur 16. Looking on to Saturday, showers more likely in the south and east. Fine on Sunday with light winds, Launceston reaching 17 and Hobart 16. And on Monday, showers developing in the northwest, extending statewide during the day. Sunny in Perth tomorrow, showers in Adelaide and Melbourne, 21 in Sydney, Brisbane 26 and 34 in Darwin. And currently Hobart partly cloudy and 14 degrees, 15 in Launceston partly cloudy and Devonport 13 and cloudy. And that's all in weather tonight, Kim.
Thank you very much, Chelsea. And one more before we go tonight. It's a story of a man on a personal mission, embarking on his own Forrest Gump-style journey across Tasmania. Chicago's Steve Byrne is riding from Dover to Devonport, carrying only the bare essentials on his bike. It isn't for charity, but just for fun.
We don't have hills like Tassie has hills. I took a photo the first time I saw 100 metres of flat land. It's nothing but hills here.
Too true. Chicago Steve hopes to be a little fitter when he reaches Devonport in 5 days. And that wraps up tonight's bulletin. For now, it's good night.